Hello and welcome to my 10th video on how to create your own minigames. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make your own shop so you can buy gears. Later on we're going to get to saving the items you bought in the shop and also handling Robux purchases so you could buy points with your Robux. And then your minigames could finally start making money. But before we start, I need you to install this asset plugin. It'll make adding gears into your game a lot easier. I made it so I could tell you it's trustable. Basically how it works is you put in an ID here, and with that ID, the ID needs to be the ID of a gear, and you enter it. It shows you the name and a picture. You can insert the gear into your game or insert the picture here, a decal into it, decal. So how you install it is you go to manage plugins, and I left a link in the description so you can install this plugin and just install it. You might have to restart Studio, that's why I'm starting this at the beginning of the video. So once you're done installing it, save your stuff or just restart Studio because you didn't do anything important yet. So manage plugins, put the link up here, and then install it. But we're not going to be using that now. What I'm going to start off by doing is designing the GUI, and then when I'm done designing it, I'll explain to you how everything works. I'll explain to you what you need to have. Okay, so I'm done designing the shop. So what you're going to need when you design your own shop is, I'll start with the labels and buttons. I just have this text label to let the people know that they're in the shop, even though they should already know. But then there's the points label for how many points the player has. Then a buy points button. So when the player clicks on that, it'll show them a frame where they could buy points for Robux. But like I said earlier, I'm not going to be scripting that in this tutorial. This one's going to be a bit too long. Then there's the scrolling frame. with a frame inside of it called items. This is really important that you have the frame inside of it called items. And you need to have it sized a bit smaller than your scrolling frame, because I'm going to be using an object called UI grid layout, so it automatically sorts all of our buttons. And with the UI grid layout, you can't set a default start position, so you need to be a little creative and add this items frame, make it a little smaller. What I did is I set its size to 1 on the scale and -5 on the offset. And then I positioned it to 2 on the offset for both coordinates, or for both X and Y. So for your UI grid layout, I'm going to have the cell size 50 by 50. This is how big your items inside the shop are going to be. 50 pixels by 50 pixels. With the UI grid layout, you don't have a choice but to have this cell size. It will prevent you from changing the... Here, I'll show you. You won't be able to change the size or the position on your own as long as this exists. You see it's grayed out for the position and the size. But if I remove... no, I won't remove it. But it's going to be very useful, because you see if I clone all these frames, it automatically sorts them out for me. For the UI grid layout cell padding, this is the distance in between each cell. So if I set that to 0, there won't be any space at all in between. But I don't really want that, even though it doesn't look that bad. I don't want that. I'm going to have it at the default 5 and 5. Okay, so after that, my scrolling frame, the scroll bar thickness is set to 1 so it doesn't get in the way. And that's all you need, I think, for the scrolling frame. Then the preview, you have a buy button. This button is going to be what they use to equip, unequip, or buy the item from the shop. Price label, that's how much the gear costs. Name label, that's the name. And image label, it's going to be the picture that's on the buttons. So that's all for the GUI, what you need for it. So go to the main script, and we're going to need to add an inventory into the player. So to do that, just go local inventory, inventory equals instance.new folder player, and inventory.name equals gear inventory. I'm also going to change the variable to gear inventory instead of just inventory. That just in case you want to have an extra shop for trails and stuff. I might make a tutorial on that. Depends on the demand of it. So if you want a trail shop tutorial, I'll show you how to do that next. Well, if you ask for it, I'll show you how to do it later. Okay, so we got the gear inventory folder inside of the player. So now we're pretty close to being able to start scripting. But before we start, add a folder into replicated storage. Why I use replicated storage is because both the client, so local scripts, and server scripts can access this. And that's what it was made for. So folder, name it to gear shop. After that, I'll show you how to use my asset plugin now. So go to the ROBLOX website, find a gear that you want, and I'll have a few screenshots up here for how the link should look. You'll see after roblox.com/catalog, you'll see some numbers, then another slash, and then the name of whatever it is. We want those numbers, so take those numbers and copy them into the asset plugin. I already have the blocks equaler here, so go to your gear shop, have your ID in there, insert into selection. So there you go, you got your tool here. Then you insert another folder inside of it and you call it info. Inside of the info folder, insert the decal into it. And now you're going to have an int value and a string value. So the int value is going to be the price, and the string value is going to be the name, the display name. So what it's going to show on the shop. That's the only one that's the only tool I'll have, but I'll copy it twice and make it a little more expensive. I'll make this one 50 and the other one's going to be 30. Just for testing. I'll add some more later. So using this plugin, you'll see it'll make it a lot easier than having to find a free model for it, because this inserts it straight from the catalog. Okay, so we got that done. Now we're going to need a whole new remote function in replicated storage. Just call it shop, and I'll create a script in server script service, call it shop too. Okay, so remember how we did the AFK thing, toggle AFK? We're going to be doing the same thing with the shop. So function game.replicated storage.shop.onServer invoke player objective, then the 3 dots, local t equals 3 dots. This is going to be a table of whatever is added at the end. I don't think we're going to be using it for the shop though, but I just do it out of habit. You're also going to need to return a value. Return, I'll just do an empty string. Okay. So here it's very important that we use a pcall, because either something's going to go wrong or a hacker's going to make something go wrong. So either way, it's really bad if something goes wrong. So I have pcall there to avoid the script from breaking the shop for everybody just because something went wrong. So pcall will avoid the function, but you won't get an error inside of the output. So after you have the pcall, we're going to check if the objective is to buy gear, then we're going to buy the gear. So here we'll do create a variable called gear equals game.replicated storage.gearShop find first child T1. Remember, these are square brackets. Okay. Now we have to check if gear exists, because if it doesn't exist, we're going to be doing something wrong. If gear, then now we check if the player already owns it, because if they do, we don't want them to buy it again and waste their money, because it won't give them, it won't be good if they buy a second one. If player dot gear inventory find first child gear dot name, then add a not there. So if not player dot gear inventory find first child gear dot name. So if they don't have the gear, then it's safe to buy it. So now we check if the player has enough money. Player.leaderstats.points.value is greater or equal to gear.info.price.value. And then, so if they have enough money, if their money is greater or equal to the price, then we're going to take off their money. Leaderstats.points.value equals player.leaderstats.points.value minus gear.info.price.value. So we just took their money, now we gotta give them the gear. But it's not gonna insert it into their inventory. We're gonna be adding a bool value into their gear inventory. So local bool equals instance.new bool value player.gear inventory bool.name equals gear.name bool.value equals false. So what's going on here is it's going to be creating a bool value. And why are we using a bool value? Because we want to know if the tool is equipped or not. So whether or not they have it in their backpack. So if it's false, it means the tool will be unequipped, and if it's true, then it will be equipped in their backpack and starter gear. Okay, so go to the same if statement and add an else for buy gear. We're going to do else if objective is equal to equip gear, and then I'll copy this. Actually, I can copy all the way up to here. Just gonna need to add two ends. Okay. So make sure you don't mess up there. If there's an end underlined, then you did something wrong. You might be missing an end, or you might have too many. So be careful when you do that. So here we're checking if the player does own the thing. So get rid of the not in the if statement. So if player.gear inventory, you find first child gear.name. If they have it, then we're going to insert it into their backpack. But there's a glitch I want to prevent. We got to make sure that the tool's not already in their backpack. So end not player player.backpack, or I'll do starter gear, because once they equip the tool, it's in their character, and then they could glitch it out. So if player.starter gear find first child gear.name, then okay, so they don't already have it equipped, and if they own it, then we add it into their backpack and their starter gear. So local clone 1 equals gear clone. Local clone 2 equals gear clone. Okay, clone 1 is going into their backpack and clone 2 is going into their starter gear. Clone 1.parent equals player.backpack. Clone 2.parent equals player.starter gear. And then we're going to be checking for unequip, else if objective is equal to unequip gear. Then check if they have the gear again. Or if the gear exists, but it doesn't matter if they have it or not. It'll just remove it from their inventory, so it doesn't really matter. So we check if it's in their backpack. If player find first child gear.name, then player.backpack. Oh, if player.backpack, find first child, gear.name, then player.backpack, gear.name, destroy. What this is it's basically like the player dot backpack with the two square brackets, but it's a little different because this way it will accept a string into it. It'll accept any text as the child name, because you can't do dot and then a string. You'll see it's highlighted in red or underlined in red. So if player.backpack, gear.name, destroy. Then we do the same thing for starter gear. Player.starter gear, find first child, gear.name, then player.starter gear, gear.name, destroy. Okay. Buying and equipping gear should all work once we send the invoke to the server to do it. So now it's safe to start scripting on the client side. So inside your shop frame, I'm going to call it shop frame instead of shop. So insert a local script and define the player, game.players.local player, then their inventory, gear inventory equals player.gear inventory, and gear shop equals game.replicated storage.gear shop. And selected equals nil. Selected is going to be what which button they clicked on. So which gear they're selecting actually. I'll get to that later though. Make a function called load gear shop. This function is going to be loading it into the items frame. So for IV in pairs, gear shop get children, do. Instead of V, I'll do current gear. So what current gear is going to be, it's whatever tool in gear shop it's at. So local button equals instance.new image button player dot script.parent dot scrolling frame dot items. Okay, so this is an image button. Its image is going to be what we have inside of info.decal. So button.image equals current gear. Remember, that's whichever one we're at. .info.decal.texture. Then button.name equals current gear.name. Button dot border size pixel equals 0. I'm just designing it now. Button dot background color 3 equals color 3 dot new. 111 is white. Now I'm gonna call load gear shop to make sure everything works fine. And yes, it does. I got 2 Bloxy-Colas that don't do anything yet, but they're there. Okay. So now we're going to make them do something. button dot mouse button one click connect function, and now we set selected to current gear. Okay. Now we're going to be setting up the preview. So this frame here, we're going to change the text here, the image, the price, and the text for the buy button. So whether or not they buy, equip, or unequip. Script.parent.preview dot name label dot text equals current gear dot info dot display name dot value. Script.parent.preview, so script.parent.preview dot price label dot text equals current gear dot info dot price dot value, and script.parent.preview dot image label dot image equals current gear dot info dot decal dot texture. So that's all I'm going to do for now, just to make sure it works. And at the end of price, setting the price, I'm going to concatenate space P for points. So it should look like this. Yep, perfect. We don't have our display name set. That's why it doesn't have a name. So display name, Bloxy Cola 2, and the other one's going to be Bloxy Cola 1. Okay. So these are just examples. You're going to be adding your own gears and try to keep it professional. Don't be Bloxy Cola 1 or Bloxy Cola 2. Okay? Okay. So now when I go test it, here we go. Bloxy Cola 1, Bloxy Cola 2. One's cheaper than the other. Okay, so now we have to change the text of the buy button. So script, we're gonna check if the player owns the thing, so if it's inside of their gear inventory. So if gear inventory find first child current gear dot name, then now we check if it's enabled or not, but then do else. So they don't own it, then script.parent.preview dot buy button dot text equals buy. Now we check if it's equipped or not. So if script.parent.preview, no, if gear inventory find first child current gear dot name, then gear inventory, no, what am I doing? Okay, so now we check if it's enabled, equipped. So if gear inventory find first child current gear dot name dot value, if it's equipped, then we change the text to script.parent to equip. So script.parent.preview dot buy button dot text equals unequip, because we want to unequip if it's equipped and we want to equip if it's unequipped. So else script.parent.preview dot buy button dot text equals equip. Okay, still with me? So we got the buttons down. Their texts are set accordingly. So now we just need to send it to the server depending on what the text of the button is. So script.parent.by script.parent.preview.by button mouse button one click connect function script.parent.preview if script.parent.preview.button.text by button.text is equal to equip, then game.replicated storage dot shop gear shop invoke server equip gear selected dot name. Okay. Now we do the same thing for unequip, else if script.parent.preview.by button.text is equal to unequip, then game.replicated storage.shop invoke server unequip gear selected dot name. Last one, else if script.parent.preview.by button.text is equal to by, then I'll just copy this and then by. Set it to by gear. So what's going on here is if it's set to equip, then it sends to the server to go to our shop script and equip the gear for us, this function that we made earlier. Then for the same thing for buy gear and unequip gear. Okay, let's try it. So I currently have 30 points, so I can't afford Bloxy 2, but I can afford Bloxy 1. So watch my points, they're at 30 right now, now they're at 0. Now if I click on it again, I can equip it, and if I click on it one more time, I can't unequip it yet. So I did something wrong. Go to the shop, equip gear, set player.gear inventory square brackets gear.name, and then dot value equals true. Then we got to do the same thing for unequipping. And set it to false. Now it will work. So right now it doesn't auto update, as you can see it stays at buy, but if I click on it again it says equip, if I click on it again, unequip. So what I wanted to do is update automatically. So to do that, okay, sorry about that, I just had an interruption. So now we gotta make it so it automatically changes text for us. So at the very end of our preview button, mouse button, one click, after here it's safe to do anything because it doesn't do anything until this returns something, and it only ever returns something when it's done doing everything. So it's safe to change the text here. So if, what we're going to do first is check if the player owns it. Here, we can just copy this part. We just need to change current gear with selected. And then fix the white space. That should do it automatically for us. We'll see. Buy, equip, unequip. Perfect. And what else? Right, okay, so I want this points thing to be updated. So to do that, it's very simple. Game player dot leader stats dot points dot changed connect function. So now whatever's in here is gonna happen whenever the points change, whether they go up or down. So we do script.parent.points label dot text equals player dot leader stats dot points dot value, and then concatenate a space p, and copy the inside of this so it happens when the script starts, and put it after the event. So now you'll see up here it says I have 30 points. Yeah. Now I don't like that I don't have 50 points, but it's still yellow. So I'm going to make it so it's red instead. So to do that, we go to our buy button, mouse button, one click. We're going to start with that. And I only want this to happen if they don't own it yet, because I don't want it to tell them that they can't afford it if they already have it. So I'm just going to have it work so it's red if they don't own it yet. So if player, or no, if gear inventory, no, we don't need to check that. So if player dot leader stats dot points dot value is greater or equal to current gear, is greater or equal to selected dot info dot price dot value, then. So if they have enough money, then it's gonna be yellow. So script dot parent dot preview dot price label dot text color 3 equals color 3 dot new 110, that's yellow. Then else, if they can't afford it, script dot parent dot preview dot price label text color 3 equals color 3 dot new 100. That's red, bright red. Copy the same thing and put it up here. And we're going to need to fix the white space. There we go. How I did that was I selected it and I pressed tab and it pushed it all over. And we want it to, like, let's say they select something that they can't afford right now. And I don't know where I was going with that, but we gotta reset the text anyways. Reset it to yellow here or not here, right here. So after the gear inventory, find for child current gear.name, set it to yellow. Oh yeah, here, I'll show you now. So I'll buy this. Okay, it's not working, never mind. Okay, so you put that there, and then you put it after gear inventory, find first child, selected name, which is inside the buy button, mouse click. And I think that's it. So I have enough points for this. I don't have enough points for this. I buy it. And I select this. Oh, it's still red. Okay, it's still not red. I cannot equip this. Oh, that's why. It's because they're both the same thing. If I were to change this name slightly and I go test it again, then it'll still be red because it thinks I owned the second Bloxy Cola, but now it doesn't. You see? So now I could equip, unequip. Okay, so now the last thing we need to do for this video is make it so there's a button here that they can use to toggle the shop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the AFK button, call it shop button, go inside of the local script. In the change function, instead of game.players.localplayer.afk.value in the if statement, we're going to do if script.parent.parent.shopFrame.visible then. So if it's visible, we want to do close shop. If it isn't visible, we want to do open shop. Then here we do script.parent.parent.shopFrame.visible equals not script.parent.parent.shopFrame.visible. Okay, so that's it. Now we can close shop, open shop, but I forgot to reposition it. There's also this here, the default preview. I want it to be invisible up until they click on something like that. It's very simple to do, but first I'll reposition this. And I'll change the default text to open shop just because I like to see it that way. And text wrap true. Alright, so now go to preview and uncheck the visible property. So now it's invisible by default, and then when we click on one of the buttons, that's when we're going to make it visible. So script.parent.preview.visible equals true. I'm actually going to do this at the very end of the mouse click. So right before the end with the parenthesis. So now my shop is wonderful. I don't see the preview up until I click on something. I buy it, and then I can't afford this, so I can't buy it. But I can equip this and unequip it all I want. And if I happen to die or respawn, I will still have the Bloxy Cola inside of my inventory. Now the last thing I need to do is make the frame invisible. So that's all for this video. In the next video I'm going to be showing you how to save the things that they have, and also I'll get into buying points for Robux. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.